We have breaking news. The Supreme Court has just released a major decision upholding a Tennessee ban on gender-affirming care for transgender children. The justices had to consider whether the ban violates the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, but the court has essentially ruled the decision on these bans should fall to the states. Tennessee is among 26 states that have moved to prohibit puberty blockers and hormone therapy for trans minors, so this ruling could determine access to care for hundreds of thousands of trans children. For more, let's bring in Hofstra law professor James Sample. James, looking at the opinion here, and it's just coming in, it looks like the Chief Justice here really focused on the fact that they're saying these medical treatments are still an evolving field.
I think that's right, Diane. It's good to be with you. It's good to be with Devin as well. The opinion here breaks down along the traditional, at this point, traditional 6-3 ideological lines. And the issue in the case was whether, as you said, Tennessee law, which prohibited medical treatments that were intended to allow, quote, a minor to identify with or live as a purported identity inconsistent with the minor's sex, or to treat purported discomfort or distress from a discordance between the minor's sex and asserted identity, violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. And the justices said that that law did not violate the Equal Protection Clause, which is to say that, as you said, that Tennessee gets to make the choice to ban this kind of treatment. Now, this is, as you mentioned, an extensive opinion. It's a combined, if you add the main opinion, the concurrence, and the dissent, it's a combined 118 pages long. So as we're just going through it, I want to read one sentence from the dissent just to put into perspective. It says, Tennessee's ban applies no matter what the minor's parents and doctors think, with no regard to the severity of the minor's health conditions or the extent to which treatment is medically necessary. So this is a policy, as you mentioned, that exists in slightly more than half the states. This ruling will likely embolden other states and maybe even embolden federal legislation along these lines. And Devin, who's with us as well, did an extraordinarily gripping piece earlier this year, exploring the impact that it has on families and children who find themselves in these situations.
And we are going to talk to Devin about that in just a little bit, but I want to unpack this a little bit further. In terms of the impact here, you already mentioned there's over 24 states that have similar policies. So what does this mean for those policies, and is there any other precedent that you see this case setting here?
Well, you know, what it means is those other states' policies are good law, absent the process of going through another challenge all the way from the district court process up to the Supreme Court and getting this Supreme Court to reverse itself. And with a 6-3 margin, I don't see that happening anytime soon. You know, the government here initially during the Biden administration took one position, and then when the Trump administration came in, the Solicitor General's office sort of indicated to the court that the position that the Biden administration had, which was supportive of the challenger in this case, was no longer the federal government's position, and the Trump administration sided with the state of Tennessee. So the government did, the challengers here had an argument that was based on a decision from just a couple of cycles ago, known as the Bostock decision, in which Justice Neil Gorsuch, one of the more conservative members of the court majority, had issued a ruling that was relatively favorable and from the challenger's standpoint, from the standpoint of transgender rights, from the standpoint of same-sex relationship rights. This is a ruling that basically locks that Bostock decision down to its very specific and narrow terms and says that the argument that says, but for the sex of the individual, these treatments would be allowed, that argument, which is the argument the challengers were making, if the individual were receiving these treatments and receiving hormonal treatments or receiving treatments that are consistent with the treatments a transgender individual would receive, but was receiving them consistent with their birth sex, that the individual would have continued to be allowed to receive those treatments. So what this means in practice is that the Bostock decision from earlier is limited to its terms, and this is a very unfavorable ruling for transgender rights, a very favorable ruling for those opposed to medical care for